Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Webflow workshop number 122. My name is Micah Johnson. You may know me as Mr. Create on the forums, and I am so excited and super humbled to be presenting this week's workshop. If you're new to the workshops, these are provided to perhaps allow you to learn something new and to get over any self-perceived limits and hurdles. And I am happy to be able to present a new, not new, but an interaction that I am excited about. And this interaction is something that as web designers, we are often looking for and searching for new interactions or new stuff to add to websites that we provide to our clients or that we can highlight on our own websites. And what I'm going to show you today is how to create a side menu that follows a user within a section. But before we continue, I want to make sure that everything is good for our streaming. Awesome. Alrighty, so before we jump in, let's take a look at what this interaction actually is. So this interaction is going to act something like this. So we are going to have a hero section, and once a user comes to the section where the interaction is implemented, this side menu that you will see here will follow the user and stick to the side as the user scrolls down, and you'll notice that there's some ID tags here so that the user can use this as a menu, and then once they come out of this section or come to the bottom of the section, this menu will stick and the user can continue throughout the website. Pretty cool. Alrighty, so now let's jump into our Webflow project. So within our project, you'll see that it is completely blank. It's completely blank. And let me double check here, make sure everything is good on the stream. Awesome. Yes, we're good. So as you'll see, there's nothing within our project, but there are some style settings that we have on our body. So these settings are and include just a font family of Source Sans Pro, a color on the font size, some line height, and background color. So that's all we have. And then within our assets, we have just a project image. All right, so now let's begin creating this project. So first, we're going to create our hero section. And this section is going to just contain a hero element. We'll name it C Hero. And then we want this element to have a height of, let's say, 95 VH, maybe 90 VH. So we want the user to be able to know that there's more to view. Now let us add a background video to this element. And we want this background video, we'll name it C Hero __ back video. And while we're adding our styles, let's upload our video. And this video was found at cover.co. This is where you can find free videos that you can utilize as backgrounds. So this is where this video is coming from. And so we're going to now make this element 100% of the parent, and then we're going to add an overlay. And let's see here, what do we want our overlay to be? We'll make it kind of a dark blue color with a transparency 80%. Awesome. Let's add. Now we want to add some hero text, and we want to align that hero text in the middle. Let's see here. We'll name this My Lifelong Dream. Then we will add a button. Say this will be our learn more button. And then we will add some styling to this button. See hero underscore underscore button. We want this button to be our main color. And that color would be this, and add a little radius, maybe 10 pixels, kind of round out the button. Alrighty, so now we have our hero, but what actually are we going to create within this interaction? So let's take a look at a sketch file that I created that kind of gives us some background into what our video is, or excuse me, what our interaction is. So as you can see, this is what the website that we're going to create, and the interaction will include this. You'll find that within the interaction, as the user comes to this section right here, there's going to be actually 3 menus that our user interacts with. And once the user scrolls into this section, this auto-positioned menu will be hidden, and then this fixed position menu will then be revealed, and it will follow the user as they scroll down the site. And then once they come to the bottom of the section, an absolute position menu will then show, and then lastly the fixed position menu will be hidden. Awesome. So now let's jump back into our Webflow project. Alrighty, so now we have our hero completed. Let's now add in our section that we're going to have for the menu. So we'll just name this section L section, and this section is going to have some padding on it. Just 6 rims on the top and bottom. Alrighty, so now we have our section. Now we want to have just some text that explains what this lifelong dream is. So we'll name this, we just can name it C title. And we want the text within this to be centered. We'll add a heading element, make it a 2, and we'll name this next section. Let's see here, what do we have within our project? We call this section My Travels. So I'll copy this area here, name this My Travels, and then we will add in some text. Let me paste here. Awesome. Awesome. And now we want to name this element here, see title text, and we want it to be slightly darker. Awesome. Alrighty, and now we want to then add a little padding below our element here, just to give us some space. Alrighty, so now below this C title section, we're going to now create the wrapper that's going to contain our menu as well as our photos or our projects. So we're just simply going to add in a div element that is going to be within our section and not in the title. And then we're going to give it a name. We'll just name it C Select. And we want this item to be 100%, if I can type correctly, 100%. Awesome. Then within that, as we saw within our sketch file, so this is the section that we're creating. We're going to add in these 3 menus as well as these projects on the left side. So first, let's create our menus. So I'm going to add in, let's put some styling on our C select. We want to utilize, use vertical and have it line stretch. Then we want to name our menu, and we can name this, we'll name it C menu. And then within that menu, we're going to have a symbol. And we want that symbol, we'll add an additional div. And that div, we'll name it C menu, and let's name it symbol. This is where we're going to add the styles for our menu. So I want it to be a width of 30 BW, so that it is there on the left side, and we want it to have a height of 100 VH with a background color that is white. We want it to stand out. And then lastly, let's add some padding on our right side so that it pushes our project over just a tad. And then to have this centered text, we're going to add in display setting, a flexbox display setting, and we want this to also be vertical and centered as well. So then when we add in our heading text, we'll name this, let's see, my photos, and we'll title this C menu title. Give it a larger size. We want it to stand out, maybe 7, 1.5, and make it a tad bit bolder and darker. Awesome. Now let's add in our links. So these links are going to be used so that when the user clicks on them, they can access the projects on the right side. So let's add some styles to our links. C menu __ link. And we want to remove the underline, give it a color of the main color. And see here, our main color is awesome. I actually want to make this the global main color. And next, we want to add a transparent border on the bottom. Now, this trick is used so that when the user clicks on the link, we're going to add an additional style. So right now, as you can see, I'm adding this style, and I've actually made a slight mistake. This style is going to be utilized for the current. So let me add this here. Let's add a couple more links. And what I'm going to do is remove this color. And then we'll notice that once we access this link, we're going to change the link color to this instead. So we're going to add some additional styles, give it some more space, maybe 1.5 rims below, and add some space to our title as well, maybe 2 rims. Awesome. Now let's create our project section. So this is our menu, our relative menu. Now let's add in our project section. So we'll name it C project, and we want it to have, this here, we'll actually need to change this to horizontal to have it on the have the project on the right side. So we're going to change the flex layout to horizontal. We want the project wrapper to have a width of 100%. And we have a height of 100%. Awesome. Now, within our project, we're going to add in our project item, underscore item. And we want this to have a height of 95 VH with a margin of 5 VH. It's coming together. So as you can see, we have our menu on the left side, and now we're adding our project. Let's add in a background to our project. So add in our background. We want it to cover. We want to adjust it just a tad. Looks good. And now for this item, let's give it an ID. We'll give it an ID of project 1. And we're going to use this ID so that our text can link to it as it goes through the section. I want to make sure I update my menu links. I think there we go. Awesome. Now we're going to add some styles to the current, and we want to also underline our current. Make sure we add the correct color. There we go. So this is what we're looking to do. As the user goes down through, it's going to have a current selection on our link, so that each time you scroll through the sections, the links will be highlighted on the left side. So just for time purposes, we're going to copy and paste this one project throughout the project. This section here, we'll just do 3. And we'll give each a new ID. So project 2. I just realized I spelled project incorrectly. Update this one. Then we'll give this a project of 3. So then when we update our links, each link will be able to scroll to the section. Let's publish and take a look at how this is going. So we have our hero image, we have text below, and now we have our link sections, and it allows you to scroll to each. Awesome. Let me make sure that I have my current styling for each one. I think so here. Awesome. We'll come back to that. Awesome. All right, now let's jump into the other additional menus. But before we do that, we need to make this a symbol, because what we're going to be able to do is have this symbol used in all 3 of our menus and only have to update the side menu in one location. So we'll make this a symbol. We'll call it our sticky menu. Create the symbol. Now let's create the additional menus. So as we recall, the additional menus will have a fixed menu that's going to stick to the top and follow the user as it scrolls down, and then an absolute menu. But before we can do that, we need to make sure that our wrapper, or the parent element that is holding these menus, has a position relative. So then when we add absolute, it will be at the bottom of this section here. So now let's add in our additional menus. I'm just copying and pasting, and this menu is going to have a modifier of is -- sticky. I will just call it is - fixed, and we'll now give it a position styling of fixed. Then we'll have it position top left, and then we'll give it a index of 3, and you'll learn why here in a minute. So now let's take a look and see what this looks like. All right, so we have our links, and as you can see, this fixed menu is following all the way up and even through our hero image. So we're going to add an interaction so that that is hidden once you go past the section. Alrighty, so next we're going to add our absolute position menu. So I copied the fixed one, and I'm now going to duplicate this class and rename it to is absolute. Going to update the position styling to absolute and have it bottom left. So as you can see, it is now here bottom left, and I want to give it a z-index of 2. And we'll learn why here in a bit. Awesome. So now we have our menu created. Next, we're going to create the interaction. So the interaction is actually going to occur on the item that holds the menu and the projects. So we'll jump into our interactions panel. We'll go to our triggers and we'll select scroll into view. So the animation that we want to occur once the element scrolls into view is going to have a menu that sticks, and then it's going to unstick that fixed menu once the user exits out. So let's delete these here that I've already created and walk through how these interactions occur. So we're going to add a new interaction. I'll name this interaction menu sticky. Then we're going to select the element that is going to be hidden first, and that is the fixed menu, and the fixed menu is going to be hidden and then revealed. So once the user scrolls into the section, we want to reveal the fixed menu. So then we go back to our interaction and we want it to be display and have it display block. Awesome. And then next we want to utilize offset, and if you haven't used offset before, what offset does is once a user scrolls into view, you can change where that view interacts with that interaction or shows that interaction or goes through that interaction on the page. And you can learn more in our university article. And what I want to do is have this offset to 100% so that it occurs when the user is fully within this section. Alrighty, so now let's go back. We need to make a couple updates. We need to update our fixed menu, have it display none. And we need to update our absolute menu and have it display none as well. And let's take a look to see how our interaction is looking currently. So I'm gonna refresh the page. As we scroll down, awesome. As you can see, the link sticks, but it goes further than we want, and it also scrolls up into the hero image once we pass through the section. So now we have to add an additional interaction. So once we go back to our select wrapper, we're going to add a scroll out of view interaction, and this interaction is also going to have an offset of 100%. We're going to add a new animation. We'll call it menu unstick. And what is going to occur here is it's going to display none the fixed menu. So we have this display none, and then it's going to display the absolute menu. Done. I'm going to publish. And to get the best idea of how all this is going to work, let's add a footer section just so that we know that the interaction is not scrolling through to any other sections. We'll name this one L section like the above. We'll put a container here, name it C footer, and we want the text within this container to be centered. Then let's add some text. We'll just name it copyright I love hiking.com. Now let's take a look at our project. So we're going to go back to the top, refresh. Now as the user comes down to the section, as we've already seen, it will fix to the top here, and then you can scroll through, and then once it gets to the bottom, the absolute position sidebar is shown and it no longer follows. But then once you enter into the section again, the fix menu is shown, and then it is hidden once you get to the top, and the relative menu is then shown, and the user can continue to scroll through. Pretty cool, pretty cool. So hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to provide them in the messages. I'll be happy to take a look. So let's see what type of questions we have. Our first question is, what is the naming convention you're using to name your elements? Awesome. So the naming convention that I'm using to name the elements is a BIM naming convention. It allows me to quickly name things and easily go through using namespaces, as you saw, like the C dash. Those are namespaces. So I know that each C dash is a component, and you can nest components within components, as you saw, and also namespaces such as L, which are layouts, which you add padding or height, but nothing else in particular to the styling. On our Webflow blog, we have actually a blog post that was written about this naming convention, but any naming convention can be used, anything that will make your process speedy and fast. Great question. Feel free, any additional questions, feel free to ask any additional questions. How do you approach this in the mobile version? Great question. So in the mobile version, I would suggest having this interaction occur so that when the user goes down to a mobile version, I would make this menu item stick to the top. So let's take a look and see if we can get this to work as expected. So we'll go into our menu. We're going to update this and have it so that it feels, we want it to feel, and we want the project to feel underneath. If I can get this correct, there we go. So we want it vertical, and now we want to update our C menu to completely fill, but we want to update our symbol so that it is 100%, so it fills all the way across. And we'll update the height to something much smaller. Instead of VH, we use pixels instead, maybe 300 pixels. And this will work, so then as the user scrolls down, this menu will stick to the top, and you'll still be able to interact with the interaction. And you can also completely remove the interaction at these points. If you go into your interactions panel and into the interaction that you created, you can go to the trigger settings and have it only be available for desktop, or if you only want it to occur on your mobile views. So let's take a look. I haven't done this or tried this before, so this is going to be a good test. So we're going to try and resize here and see once we get into our mobile view. So it comes here, then so then we would need to make our fixed items also 100% of it, and then once it gets down outside of the section, we'll also need to update our offset. So it'll just be a little tinkering so that this menu would stick, and that also it would interact, that the offset will work just as well on the desktop version. But you can also notice that without updating the menu for the mobile, that it would work just as well. And we'll go back to our test example, that it shrinks pretty small if the text isn't too large. But I would definitely suggest making it so that it is small enough within the window. Definitely a great question. Let's see here. Make sure our windows are correct size. Awesome. Any other questions? I would love to answer any other question. Feel free. Well, I think we're wrapping up here. Hopefully this was helpful. Definitely appreciated this opportunity. Again, if you are new to these live streams occur every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, and these live streams are used to just kind of help you learn something new and possibly to push you into new directions that you may not have even thought of. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out on the forum in regards to any type of design or code help. Our forums are a great place where you can learn and be able to help others. Also, any account billing or technical support, go to university.webflow.com/contact and submit your issue or question there. And in the forum, if you find an answer to a question on the forum that helps, please pay that forward and help others out and provide answers to others that you can do as well. Again, this stream happens every Tuesday, 10 a.m. Pacific. Feel free to follow us at Webflow app on Instagram and on Twitter. And as our awesome Nelson always says, let's go make the web beautiful. And I would like to sign off by saying, be kind, create, and share. Have a great one.